All right, welcome everyone. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dive into what is honestly one of the biggest paradigm shifts in the history of healthcare, the integration of artificial intelligence into clinical practice. And look, this isn't science fiction anymore. It's the new reality that all of you will be navigating. So let's just kick things off with a question that really gets you thinking. Could an algorithm, a piece of software, be your next, most insightful clinical consult? As you're about to see, the answer to that is way more complex and fascinating than you might think.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll cover the basics. What even is AI in medicine? Then we'll look at the deep learning revolution that's fueling all this. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of AI in clinical practice today, weigh the incredible promise against some very real challenges, and finally, look at what this means for you as the clinician of the future.
All right, so let's jump right in. Before we can talk about the impact of all this, we really have to be on the same page about the terminology. What are we actually talking about when we say AI in medicine?
So at the very top, you have artificial intelligence, or AI. Think of it as the big umbrella term. It's all about creating systems that can chew on complex medical data and do things that, normally require a human brain, a human intellect.
Okay, now if we peek under that AI umbrella, we find machine learning, or ML. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Here, instead of a programmer writing a bunch of explicit if-then rules, the algorithms are basically trained on huge amounts of data. We're talking millions of electronic health records. They learn to spot the patterns all by themselves in order to make clinical predictions. And that brings us to the real game changer in medical AI right now, deep learning. This is a super specialized type of machine learning that uses these complex structures called neural networks, kind of modeled after our own brains. And what they are amazing at is finding these incredibly subtle, sometimes even invisible, patterns in data. This is completely upended fields that rely on images, like radiology and pathology.
Okay, so you might be asking, why now? I mean, AI as a concept has been around since the 1950s, right? But something just exploded in the last decade or so. What was the spark that ignited this revolution?
Well, it really was a perfect storm, a convergence of three massive things. First, we got big data. All of a sudden, with electronic health records and digital imaging, we had these enormous data sets to train our models. Second, computing power went through the roof, especially with GPUs. Yeah, the same graphics cards that power video games. And third, we had some huge breakthroughs in the algorithms themselves, especially these things called convolutional neural networks, which are just tailor-made for analyzing images.
So, that's the tech side. But how is all this fancy code actually making its way from the lab into the clinic? Let's look at some real-world examples of how AI is impacting patient care as we speak.
And it's probably no surprise to you that the field leading this charge is radiology. I mean, they were one of the first specialties to go fully digital, right? So they had all this structured image data just sitting there, waiting to be analyzed. That head start is exactly why today, the vast majority of all FDA-approved AI medical devices are for radiology. And here's a jaw-dropping example of what that means. In lung cancer screening, a 2019 study built a deep learning model to spot cancerous nodules on CT scans. It scored an AUC, or area under the curve, of 0.944. Now, AUC is just a measure of how good a test is. 1.0 is perfect, so 0.944 it's incredibly good. So good, in fact, that the AI model actually performed better than a group of 6 board-certified radiologists. And this idea of AI as a second reader is so powerful. Check out this landmark study from 2020 on mammograms. An AI system not only performed as well as human experts, it actually helped reduce their errors. In the US data, it cut down on false positives by over 5%, and, this is the big one, it reduced false negatives, meaning missed cancers, by almost 9.5%. That's huge. But this isn't just a radiology story, not at all. In dermatology, we have models that can spot melanoma with the accuracy of a specialist. In pathology, AI is automating the incredibly tedious work of grading cancer on digitized slides. Cardiologists are using it to find patterns in ECGs that are literally invisible to the human eye to predict future heart problems. And in the hospital itself, predictive models are constantly watching patient data to flag who's at high risk long before they actually crash. This quote here really just nails it. This isn't a prediction about the future. This is what's happening right now. For certain specific jobs, especially looking at images, the data is clear. The algorithms aren't just catching up to human experts. In some cases, they're already better. And that has some pretty profound implications for the future of how we diagnose disease.
Okay, the promise is obviously immense. But, and this is a big but, having a great algorithm perform well in a lab is one thing. Trying to deploy it safely and effectively in a chaotic, messy, real-world clinic, that is a whole different ballgame. And that brings us to the challenges.
Yeah, researchers have a name for this. They call it the AI chasm. It's this massive, dangerous gap between proving an algorithm works on a clean dataset and actually getting it integrated into a real clinical workflow without causing unintended harm.
So what this all comes down to is a balancing act. You have to weigh all this incredible potential you see on the left against the very real risks on the right. Yes, we want more efficiency, better accuracy, and a real chance to ease clinician burnout. But the very data that drives that efficiency can also bake in bias. That super accurate black box model, it's hard to trust if you don't know how it's thinking. And all that workflow automation brings up huge questions about data privacy and whether these tools have been properly tested in the real world.
And these practical issues open up a whole can of worms when it comes to ethics. I mean, take algorithmic bias. This isn't just a tech glitch, it's a social justice issue. If you train a model on data from one population, it might not work as well for others, and boom, you've just hard-coded health disparities right into your system. And then there's the whole black box problem. As a doctor, how can you trust a recommendation if the AI can't explain its reasoning? And maybe the thorniest question of all, accountability. When an AI makes a mistake that harms a patient, who's responsible? The developer? The hospital? The doctor who trusted the output? We have to figure this stuff out.
Look, these challenges are serious, for sure, but they are not insurmountable. What they do is push us toward a much more realistic and, frankly, a more powerful vision for the future. One where humans and machines work together.
And that's the key. The conversation has shifted. The goal is not replacement, it is augmentation. The best and safest way to implement this is what we call the human-in-the-loop model. The technology is there to serve the expert, not the other way around. So in this partnership model, you let the AI do what it's great at, crunching huge amounts of data, highlighting suspicious areas on an image, calculating risk scores, doing the repetitive stuff. This frees you, the clinician, to do what only a human can do. Use complex clinical reasoning, understand the patient's full context, and most importantly, communicate with your patient. The AI becomes a force multiplier. It helps reduce burnout and gives you more time back for the essential human side of medicine. So as you continue on your journey to becoming a physician, I want to leave you with this to think about. This technology isn't a maybe anymore. It is coming, and it will be a fundamental part of how you practice medicine. The question is no longer if we're going to use AI, but how we're going to use it well. So how will you partner with these tools to make healthcare not just more accurate and efficient, but maybe, just maybe, more human?